All right. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of what this episode is going to be about, I want to address a question that was asked on Friday's show, which is, do you think that they're going to release a full beta to us for Squadron 42? Which is a really good question. My expectation is no. My expectation is that CIG is going to give us, I would say, a chapter of the first chapter of, Squadron 42 is supposed to be a 3-part story. The one that we're getting right now, the one that they're working on, completely, is going to be the first of 3 chapters, like a trilogy type thing. I think that we are going to get a section of that, a very early section of that, the first few missions leading up to some kind of cliffhanger, no real big exposition. It's going to be like, well, if these gangsters aren't just working for themselves, who are they working for? Dun dun dun. And then to be continued in the finished final product. That's what I think that we're going to get. I don't think that we're going to get a full, Squadron 42 playable right to the end. That's my expectation. And, they're going to kind of use the time that beta buys and obviously the interest they hope it will generate to generate more money. And, of course, to take that time to polish off the finished product to make it worthy of the extended development time that it has taken, right? Because you got to also remember that time is a factor. And the amount of time that they've spent on this product, if they end up with something that doesn't work or that's buggy or that's crappy, that kind of puts the whole thing, in jeopardy. So they are really going to polish this thing up. So that is what I expect in terms of Squadron 42 if it releases this year. And that's kind of why, I kind of chuckle when I say, beta in 2020, but there is a hope, right? Because that's what I think that they're going to do. I think that they're going to get us like 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 missions in, and then just say, boom, 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 to be continued. And I think that if they're limiting themselves to that scope, then I think there's a reasonable chance that they could get it done. It's just going to be obviously the fit and polish to make it run and run well. Now, recently there was a question on one of my videos, and they were asking, Minion, I would love for you to do an episode talking about all the different types of piracy in Star Citizen. And to be perfectly honest, I would love to do that episode. I would love to. But we're just not there yet. There really isn't any piracy in the game currently. Now, obviously, this person was referring to the future. And we could have asked that question 3-4 years ago, and we could have said, oh yeah, by 2020 we'll have everything in the game, right? It's often the joke that I love to tell is that, back in 2015 and 2016, when guys like me were saying, things like, dude, you have to understand that we'll maybe be playing Star Citizen like a full game in like 2018, 2019 or whatever, and people were just saying, oh, you don't know anything about game development, you're a pessimist, you're a Star Citizen hater, and all that stuff like that. And now it's like the haters and the pessimists were the people who were just completely wildly optimistic, summer children or whatever. And here we are. We have to look at the year coming up and what we're going to get. And obviously, Squadron 42 is the prism through which all this light must pass. And we only get to deal with the byproduct or the aftermath of that. We don't get any say in what goes in before because it's all Squadron 42, Squadron 42, Squadron 42. Are we likely to see any real piracy show up in the next year? Well, that requires a roadmap update. It requires sticking to those roadmap objectives, and then you can kind of go, okay, now I can kind of see where we can get piracy. The truth is that core piracy, blowing up a hauler, taking its cargo, selling it somewhere, the infrastructure, part of the infrastructure is there already. You know, we have the little wrecking yards out at around Area 18 on Daymar, and we have one over by Hurston here. We have these places that we can visit, but the problem is that, you know, while that infrastructure is there, there's no NPCs to currently sell to there. There's no way to, even if you were to, say, steal somebody's ship and just fly it there and just say, here, I'm selling you this ship, give me money for it. You know, that NPC isn't there. So while those points are built into the game now, any of the interactions that you would need to make that work are just not there. Any of the ways that you would interact with the game in order to, you know, facilitate that aren't there. NPC haulers that drop cargo is something that has actually been put in the game and been removed because, you know, everyone will remember the days back, and I think it was 3.3 when we first got the pirate caterpillars, and if you blew them up, they dropped all kinds of cargo crates in space, and you could take those cargo crates and you could sell them and you could make money, and we were ecstatic. We were, oh my god, here it is. You know, we don't have tractor beams yet, which sucks, but you can go out and you can collect the crates and you can load them up into your Cutlass Black or whatever, take them down to Grim Hex, you can sell them, make a bunch of money. We were just over the moon. Finally, it's here. You know, finally that little bit of piracy is here. But then we found out it was crashing and killing the servers. So obviously OCS and things like that have to come in to make something like that stable. Tractor beams so that when ships blow up and they drop their cargo, they can actually drop the bigger crates instead of dropping like 1,000 of the little ones. All these things like that need to come into the game in order to facilitate that basic piracy, you know. We don't know what's coming up over the next year, really. For Star Citizen, I mean, you could say, oh, well, there's some stuff on the roadmap. Yeah, but, you know, I'll believe it when it's finished, right? Now, what you're seeing up on screen is another form of piracy. This is, of course, the array hack job. And we're going to pick up the key from the wrecking yard here at Hurston. And then we are going to go up and try to hack the array. And I say try because by the time I land at the wrecking yard, I'm going to get a 30k error. The moment my landing pads touch the ground, you know, I'm bound and determined to try and do some kind of hacking in the Herald, as you can tell, and the game is just not cooperating. So, I mean, this is one form of piracy, technically, that exists. Unfortunately, the game is just not stable, especially right now. I mean, 30k errors. I'm surprised this isn't like just a hashtag or something like that. Like, this is the new buzzword, you know. 30k errors everywhere you go, you know. And it's true. The game is very, very unstable right now. And running cargo or trying to do anything that can be somewhat time consuming is really not all that great. Now, hacking, of course, can go far beyond, you know, getting beyond the issues with the game itself, which is something that CIG can resolve over time. Hacking is something that you're supposed to be able to do with this ship, but in order to do that, you need a UI to do that with, and we know that the UI is something that they are currently working very diligently on, and that's probably something that is going to premiere as part of that Star Citizen beta, and that's probably one of the big things that hopefully we can expect at some point this year is the entire refactor of the UI, and with that opens the door to create these new interfaces that will allow us to do data running, that allow us to do hacking and things like that beyond just, you know, putting the chip in the computer slot and pushing the hack button, right? But I'm not a computer hacker by profession, but I'm pretty sure that that's not how that works. It's like, oh, where's the hack button? Oh, now I can just log into anyone's computer. Easy. So obviously there's a lot of work to be done yet to facilitate even these kind of basic careers. Now, much like hacking, smuggling is a career that exists as well in the current PU. You can smuggle things, you get these missions when you have a certain amount of reputation with the local gangs. And they'll say, hey, take this from Grimhex and deliver it to Orinth or wherever, one of these wrecking yards usually. And we'll pay you 7,000 UEC to do this. And of course, if the UEE interdicts you and scans you and they find out, oh my God, you've got illegal goods, you're a bad guy, we're going to get you, that sort of thing. But right now, I mean, the challenge in that is basically setting yourself to full afterburner, speeding away from the UEE, and then just kind of going like, and then back to warp speed, deliver your goods. And yeah, you get crime stat, but crime stat is no big deal. We keep hearing about, oh, you'll be able to hack down your reputation using hacking missions and stuff like that. You don't need to. You can just go fly and let the UEE interdict you and then get up and go grab a snack, let them blow up your ship, boom, crime stat removed. Now in the future, that's about to change with prisons, but we'll have to wait and see. But indeed, smuggling is there now, not to the depth that we've been promised. Not, CIG has idealized or kind of vocalized what they want smuggling to be. They want hidden smuggling compartments. They want crates that maybe you can't scan through, things like that. They want the UEE to like board your ship and search it and maybe find something or maybe not find something, and then you slip past. They want that kind of Han Solo, Millennium Falcon, pre-A New Hope type gameplay. They want you to go down that route, and they want you to have a very good adventure, and what they say about it is very promising. I think they're headed in a good direction. I think their heads are in the right place with that. And so overall, I think that once it gets beyond this, I wouldn't even say a tier 0 implementation, it should be a very interesting career. Certainly something where the Mercury Star Runner would become a very valuable ship to those trading in illicit goods. Now, smuggling, of course, currently is kind of a dead career in terms of self-initiated smuggling, right? Like, you can get the mission, you go deliver the thing to Orinth or wherever, and you get 7,000 credits, whoopee-doo, but there's obviously full-on smuggling, which is, say, going down to Jumptown, buying a freelancer or a cutlass full of ETAM and then delivering it somewhere and selling it. And technically, yes, you can do that, but it is artificially limited, right? You can only sell so much at a time, and a lot of people have found that while it initially looks profitable, it's something of a trap because your ship ends up storing all this cargo at Grimhex or whatnot while you wait hours, literally hours, to unload just a cutlass's worth of cargo. And yeah, you can make a lot of money, but you basically have to sit there and just wait and wait and wait because, once again, there is no system in the game to facilitate a proper like auction house type environment where you can just say, take all those goods off your ship, put them there in storage, and just put a sell order up on the local auction house. Sorry, I'm using a WoW term. And just say, I'm selling, 10,000 units of ETAM for 110 UEC a piece. Here they are on the market, buy them. And then while that sell order is up, if you've got extra money, you go, you buy some more ETAM or space weed or whatever. Then you fly it out to maybe a future landing zone on, R-Corp, like Area 11 or Area 17. Maybe the site of some now defunct trading company that has been taken over by the local criminal elements. You deliver it there and you sell it. You do the same thing. You put up another sell order there, and then you go and you do the same thing with Microtech or Hurston, whatever, wherever you can find these markets. And so while you're out there kind of shifting things around, you've got, different irons and different fires all cooking up. And all these things are working to make you money. That type of real smuggling is something that we just don't have the systems in game to facilitate, but you can see how obviously it could be quite a lucrative career. And I think that smuggling is going to be kind of high risk when you're picking up the goods and delivering the goods. But apart from that, if you can do it and you can do it well, and it is indeed a career that challenges the intelligent player, or challenges the player to play intelligently and in a very crafty way, I think that indeed it's going to be a very lucrative and rewarding career. But once again, time will tell. We need the systems to fully facilitate and realize the potential of this career before we can really say if it's good or bad. You know, we have the ships, we have the goods, we have the markets to do this. We just don't have the UI, or we don't have the tools to properly move these goods and test these things out. That's why Jumptown is a ghost town, when back in the day it used to be popping and everyone went there to PvP and no one really went to Korea anymore, because that's where you got the most action, because everyone wanted to go to Jumptown to pick up goods. So, I mean, that kind of in a nutshell is the current state of the different types of piracy that are available in Star Citizen, right? The biggest future development that we have coming down the road that we know about is, of course, the prison system, which is part of the consequences of piracy. And, you know, I have an opinion on that. Love those 30k airs. I question the wisdom in choosing prisons as, you know, the primary focus. I understand, you know, wanting to further the further the depth of the punishment system, because right now it basically is, you know, you gain crime stat and either the UEE shoots you down and you reset your crime stat, or you just hack your crime stat down, whichever. I understand what they're going for. I think, unfortunately, that was kind of a misplay. I feel that more depth to piracy would have been a better objective. Certainly adding proper data running missions, or facilitating some kind of basic marketplace or auction house type idea on certain places where you can sell black market goods to allow players to begin trading in these goods. I think that would have yielded more benefit and created more livability for pirates. I mean, a lot of people complain, oh, there's people out there and they're shooting me down at Korea or wherever, and they're saying, oh, I'm being forced to PvP. And a lot of that is driven by the lack of anywhere to really go or do anything in Star Citizen. It's the lack of depth of gameplay that I think, you know, the idle hands are the devil's tools, you know. That's where the game is really lacking. And I think that's where the resources that went into the prisons should have been dropped, is to create more depth in things like smuggling and in things like data running and hacking and stuff like that. I feel that the prisons are a little bit premature and a bit of a misplay. I mean, I didn't miss when they said, well, you know, once you go to the prison, you're in an entirely different world, you know. Obviously, they're kind of, you know, it's not an actual physical location within the Stanton system as far as I, you know, understand it, in terms of a place that you can visit. It's a place that you all of a sudden wake up in and you have to escape from, and then boom, if you escape from it or do whatever, you end up back in the regular persistent universe. I feel that what the persistent universe needs is work that exists and benefits the existing persistent universe, rather than this other location, wherever it may be in the game, that you can actually interact, or you can't actually interact with right now. I think that that's kind of where, I mean, that's kind of how I would have played it, you know, speaking as, you know, the armchair game developer. But yeah, it is what it is, and that's what we are likely to see with piracy over the next year. I mean, I don't think that we're going to get too much further development in the other careers, in the meaningful careers of piracy. the things that would obviously occupy a pirate's time and draw them away from, other less sociable activities. So, yeah, I mean, that is really kind of the state and what we are going to expect over the next year with piracy in Star Citizen. I wish there were more. I really do. And once again, I wish that what had been spent on the prison system had been spent elsewhere. But it is what it is, and it's the universe that we have to live with right now. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.